They are notorious for the most vicious criminal acts on the street, but today we talk to a few members of the Bloods and Crips, and they tell us their perspective on their lifestyle on the streets.
Am I a gang member for life?
I've been a Blood for 21 years.
Comedian, father, Crip.
I define myself today as a young black man, very motivated and influential in the neighborhoods.
I like to say I'm a survivor.
Community activist, mentor, co-founder of a nonprofit.
An individual that's going to always strive to help others.
I'd like to say I beat the odds, so.
I won't necessarily say I'm a gang member for life, but I will always be a Blood.
Yep, up close and personal, I'm your host, Lunic. Welcome to the show. My first guest today says he no longer has to live his life on the street as a gangster. He's been there and he's done that. And today he's here to share his story about his new source of survival. Welcome, Jawi, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you coming and sharing with me. So, Jawi, how is it that you were able to transition what you did on the street into what you're doing right now?
I think when you live like a life of a criminal, I think there's a lot of positive elements that come from it. As strange as that might sound, but I'll just give you one simple one, hustling. Whether you're hustling on the street, hustling illegal drugs, to hustling shirts and books. It's that basic element that kind of puts you over the top. So I think I learned a lot from the streets. I grew up having to survive on my own. So I just kind of take that same drive, that same motivation. You know, I'm an author now. I have a clothing line now, so that same drive that I had to go out there and get that money illegally, you know what I mean, I just kind of use it, do something good. So
you're no longer a Blood? Would you say you're an ex-Blood? Is there such a thing?
It depends on who asking it. I don't necessarily.
Asking.
Yeah, I don't classify myself as no ex-Blood.
Okay.
I just don't commit crimes no more. So I guess if you want to use the word ex, I'm an ex-criminal.
Okay.
I don't commit crimes no more. I don't have to harm people or, you know, sell drugs, anything like that.
No more sticking up?
Nah, I don't need to do that anymore.
Okay.
You know, I'm fortunate now that I can, because of doing things like this and, you know, other things that I'm into, and that's what takes care of me and my fam. So that lifestyle is pretty much in the past.
So the legal life that you're living now, when you're obviously going in and out of business meetings.
Right.
So do you think people look at you differently? Like when you walk into a business meeting because you're all tatted up, you know, and you have like stuff on your face. Do you think that they go, now there goes a businessman? Well, yeah, or do they?
I believe they do that. It's a stereotype, but I expect that already.
Do you?
In some meetings I don't take. Some meetings, you know, it doesn't go anywhere after that. And some, you know, they deal with me because of what I can do. So.
And not what you look like.
Right. I mean.
Do you ever feel the need to put on a suit to go into a business meeting?
No, I don't not do it because, I do it because I'm not comfortable in them. That's why I don't do it. I didn't wear a suit to my mother's wedding. You know, I didn't wear a suit to my mother's wedding. So it's not about me trying to, you know, still continue a life as like, let's say a gang. It's just, I'm not comfortable in it. You know,
But you're not saying you'll never wear a suit?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say I wouldn't never wear it. If the time right and I decide I want to wear it, you know, I'll throw one on. But I definitely know that stereotype element, it exists.
So you wear your own clothes now. You're your own walking billboard now.
Absolutely.
Does that feel good?
Absolutely. It's something. I mean, it's
that's
not
your clothing line right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that I had to live through to even create. So you know, speaking of the clothing line, it was something that I didn't want to just come up with a name that just was a generic name or something like that.
What does that mean?
Times 7. It's, it represents I was on trial in 2010, so it represents the 7 counts of not guilty that I received on my trial. Acquitted of all 7 counts, charges.
How many years were you facing?
81 years.
That's a lot of years.
81 years, so it's definitely meaningful to me and my family. It represents like second chances for us, and it just represents a higher appreciation for your freedom. I think a lot of times we don't really value our freedom until it's threatened. And
you speak that firsthand?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'm adamant about it too, because I know what it feel like to be standing there in front of that judge and that jury and have no power. So I was fortunate to get through that situation. So this time 7, you know, whether no one ever wore it, me and my family, we wear it proud.
Okay. So would you say that that's when maybe the light bulb came on, if that's even what you consider it, like a wake-up call, you know, when you were there in front of the judge, facing 80-something years, because that's a lot of years for you to be doing time, because you've been a member for how long?
21 years.
21 years.
Yeah.
And you're looking at 81, so the rest of your
You
life.
die in prison.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think I would necessarily say it was a wake-up call, but
What would you say?
it was the final straw. Let's just put it that way. I've had wake-up calls before. It's just I didn't.
But how do you accumulate that amount of years? Like, what happened?
Well, 2 shootings right there. That's 20 and 20 right there. Conspiracy, gun charge, stolen car. I mean, charges add up.
Okay.
So
throughout your 21 years, this is like your jacket, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, my jacket goes back to the age of 11. First time I went to jail was at the age of 11 for shooting somebody.
As a baby.
So yeah, so my jacket goes back pretty far, and you know you got to factor in when you stand before a judge and you know they go check your jacket and they see that you're a career criminal and things like that. It adds into the the element. So it wasn't a good look for me.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't imagine. So would you say that your life was spared maybe, and that you have a greater purpose? Do you believe in that at all?
I do now. I've heard that same thing from my mother since a teenager. But sometimes I think sometimes other people can see things in you that you can't see in yourself. And now I look back at all of the nights I escaped jail, escaped death, and been in front of the judge and came out, not really too damaged, and the influence that I have on people. So now I do believe, like, I do have basically what you said, a purpose.
So yesterday, Jaweed took me to his old neighborhood, where he kind of still goes back and forth to every now and then. That's still your neighborhood. Yeah. And you said something that I thought was really profound. You said, I asked you the question, if there was anything that you can go back and change, what would that thing be? And your answer was really like,
well, I think I would have liked to have had my father present. I think that would have, not to say that would have stopped me from being a gang member, but I think that would have gave me a stronger foundation. I was an emotional kid growing up. I was rebellious because I didn't have a dad. So I know that affected me a lot of, outwardly as far as the streets with violence and things like that. So I would have liked to have had that, be more present. And plus this was my mother. My mother struggled my whole life. My mother worked 2 full-time jobs for many years, 16 hours a day.
Why do you think that would be so significant?
Well, I mean, it takes 2 parents to bring a child into the world. So me not having a dad, I think it strips you 50% of you being, who you meant to be. And I just feel like a lot of lessons and groundwork and foundation was stripped of me not having a dad. So
like what? Like?
I mean, just things as simple as
not having a traditional childhood.
True, but things that a man is supposed to teach you. A man is, my mom growing up, my mother didn't teach me how to go out there and throw my hands. So my mom we didn't have talks about girls and things like that. I think that's something that your dad's supposed to do. Teach you to shave and all that, and fix a bike.
Stuff that you're teaching.
My son. Oh yeah.
Because you have 4 kids.
I have 3 girls and a boy.
So you have 4 kids.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that right there is that hurt me. But even going a step further, it's just that camaraderie and that companionship between a man and a woman. I didn't see that. I seen my mom struggle my whole life by herself. My mother worked 2 full-time jobs, 16 hours a day, and my mom used to take the bus to work.
So she's not there for you either.
Yeah. So
she's there pretty much paying the bills and putting the food on the table.
Yeah.
So
his absence
does that play a part in sort of like you growing up the way you did and you having to man up early? Because you said you caught your first charge at 11. You're a child.
Right.
Did you feel the need to man up early?
Well, then that thought wasn't the thought. But again, me growing up, I sold a lot of drugs and I did a lot of robberies, and a lot of that money went to my mother to keep them lights on. So in that regard, yeah, it did force you to man up, because my mother was working 2 full-time jobs, and we still couldn't stay ahead of the bills. We still couldn't stay ahead of food and clean clothes and all of that. So it kind of forced me out there a little bit early to kind of help do my part, I guess you could say.
And since then, like talking to you yesterday, your energy was a little bit different.
Well, we was in the street yesterday.
We were in the street yesterday. I felt a lot of tension and tense, and today your energy's, I like this.
Well, you gotta be mindful that where you were yesterday, I lost some near and dear friends of mine right there in front of that building. Killed, shot dead right there.
In Newark.
Yeah. So it's a touchy place to be. It's eerie to even be there. And
It felt eerie.
and you know, it's a lot going on. That area right there is a hot spot. You know, it's not no place to go and sit out and do barbecues right there.
Right. We're not having a
that
block
tension
party.
that you felt was just knowing what I've seen and what I've done out there and what can just happen like that.
But why continue to go back there? Why?
That's where I'm from. I mean, that's where I'm from. I mean, I think what I do by me going back there, I don't go there just really to, let's just put it this way. My involvement with the streets today, man, is if I'm not there, then what do they have?
What does that mean? I
If
don't
I'm not
understand.
there to deal with them and interact with them, and then what do they have there left for them? So I think a lot of times we get, let's say my position, and then we go where we go, and then that's where it's at now. But that's not where I'm at now. Like where I live, I have a house. I just moved to Atlanta.
Very nice.
I got a house. I got things I want, but that's not where the work need to be done at. The work need to be done right there on 18th and Sunset where we were. It's
Okay.
still those my little homies that's still living there. So I go there for that reason.
You've done a lot of great things: acting,
Right.
producing,
Definitely.
Arthur.
Big time.
Now you've got the T-shirt line. What else?
I got a movie coming.
Got a movie coming. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. The book that I wrote was my life story. Water, bloods in my veins, and it was actually option for a movie. So that's where we are with that. And then I actually just came back from Africa in January for
Very nice.
a film that we shooting out there called Soldiers of Peace. So
What is your neighborhood like? What do they think? Because when I was out there, I kind of felt like, you know, they were like, sort of like a lot of respect, and sort of like they idolized you, kind of in a sense, like you bring hope, you know, like that's what I felt.
yeah.
Is
well,
that-
the truth? I asked that question to him before myself because when I was growing up, I didn't know nobody from my neighborhood that did anything good. Like nothing. You know, they might have been a 9 to 5 working man. That was like probably the best they can get. But anybody to go off and do anything successful, you know, see him on TV or something like, I didn't know nobody like that. So now that I'm kind of in that position and they look at me like that, it's I just think it gives them hope.
Is it a
because
good feeling?
I've been I'm one of those guys that I did it all out there. I didn't half step it. You know, I committed the violent crimes. I fought. I've been to jail, fought in jail, been extradited from state to state with marshals. I mean, I've been through all of that, and yet I still was able to, I guess you say, turn it around and be in this situation. So it leaves that thought of like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And a lot of us want that. A lot of
Yeah,
us
of
don't
course.
want to just be on that corner living poor like that. You know, some of us want more but don't know how to get it.
Right. You've also been able to get really quickly, how were you able to get the Bloods and the Crips together to play basketball together? Because that is your rival gang, other gang members, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
How did you get that to happen?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. A lot of those guys, especially from the Blue Rags, were guys that we fought with growing up in the 90s. Guys that shot at me, I shot at them, and fought in jail and things like that. But a lot of us are older now.
How did you do it?
I credit it to respect.
Okay.
I credit it to respect. I think when you get older and you know, your side, y'all go to jail, I go to jail, we come home, we have children, I think it's easier to put things that happened in the past. So those are the guys that I approached on that matter.
Okay.
And just painted the picture for them what I was trying to do. And I just think the respect that they have for me in the street, and then what I'm doing now is what allowed them to get their team on board.
Okay. Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome.
You made this really pleasant for me. I didn't know what to expect when I decided to do this, but I'm glad I did, and I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Thank you. Don't move, we'll be right back. Joining me next is another gang member, except he's not a Blood, he's a Crip, and his name is Creep. We'll be right back. This portion of the show has been sponsored by Alliance Supply Group, a national distributor for brand name medical, laboratory, safety, janitorial, and office supply, a simpler way to do business. Welcome back, everybody. Joining me now is a young man who says he is lucky to be alive, and in that same breath, he tells me He is a Crip until the casket drops. Hello, Creep.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain.
I'm so glad you decided to join me. So what does that mean, till the casket drops?
It just means basically forever.
That's simple enough.
Yeah, it's simple enough.
But you do it with a smile.
You gotta do everything with a smile.
Okay.
You can't hold your head down.
So what does being a Crip member mean to you?
Being a Crip, what does it mean to me? Well, being a Crip to me is, protecting your environment, your family, your friends, those you hold closest to you. And trying to make a way for everybody, not just yourself, but for your whole hood.
It has to be more to it than that. What are you guys fighting against? What is this thing? What is the war? Is it a war on drugs? Is it a war on territory? Is it a war on your brother? Is it something that someone did in the past? What is it exactly?
It's not even a war. It's like, I wouldn't focus it on war. It's more camaraderie, a family outside of your family.
Okay.
Some people are involved in family. They might love their family. They might not get along with their family. You never know the situation. So you go out, create your own family.
And that's what you guys do?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have people going through similar things you're going through. You got peers. Your peers understand you better than your parents sometimes, your aunts, your grandmothers, whatever the case may be. You have people around your age going through the same things you're going through.
So is that family like an extended family, or is that just like a whole separate family and they do not mix with your blood family?
Well, I'm going to say extended family.
Okay.
Because a lot of family members gangbang. You have cousins that's Crips. That's my actual cousins.
Wow.
So, extended family.
Now, there's a thing that's out there, and I know you've heard it, because there's, like every once a month or every other month, there's like these blast texts that goes out, like, look out, tonight's Thursday night. You laugh.
Yeah.
But it's real, because people get these text messages. Is that factual? Is there such a thing as initiation week or initiation night? Is that factual?
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm doing an interview here.
I got to ask you a question now.
I'm just kidding. You can ask.
Based off the question you asked me, if we was going to rob a bank, we going to call the police and tell them what day we going to do it?
I hope you wouldn't do that, but we've never gotten a thing saying the Bloods and Gangs were going to rob a bank. We got a text saying, look out, tonight's initiation. But is that somebody joking? Like, why do you think they do that, though? Is that from the outside, or that's just prank?
I guess to cause fear, to cause panic.
Oh, really?
Gang members are looked at like terrorists. We regular people just like everybody else. Families, kids, parents, grandparents, just like everybody else. You would pick a day, okay, everybody stay in the house today, because we coming. Who
would do that?
That don't make no sense.
Did you have to be initiated in order to join them?
Of course. You want me to go into the initiation? See, I told you about these questions. You got
okay. You don't want to answer that question? Because you're a comedian on the side, too, so I thought maybe you... Okay.
I had to fight a couple of the homies. That's all.
Okay.
Get
So
it
nothing
in real quick.
Real major, just got your butt kicked.
I didn't get my butt kicked.
Okay.
That was cute, though. I like how you threw that in there. But, you just a couple minutes, a couple rounds with the homies.
To see how much of it you could take?
Yeah, definitely.
So where does this comedian, how do you do that transition? Because, for those of you that don't know, Creep is a comedian.
Yes.
I like to give it up to this establishment for having me. This shit is nice. We got the stage, backstage, VIP, all in one. This shit is beautiful right here. I like this. I don't know if y'all peep outside. They got the portable tanning salons and shit outside. This shit is nice. I was standing underneath that motherfucker trying to get more African American and shit. I was just underneath this shit, just posting.
How is it sort of like you make fun of your pain? Kevin Hart was able to do that, and he did a brilliant job laughing at my pain. How does that translate for you?
Well, that's how I used to hide my pain, by making everybody laugh when I was little. I've been funny since I was 4 years old.
Oh, so you knew then you were funny?
Yeah.
Did you know, or did someone tell you, or you knew because people laughed at your jokes?
I knew because I could sit in a room full of adults and have everybody cracking up. And I'm talking about not little kid topics.
Those of you that don't know what cracking up is, cracking up means laughing out loud, really loud.
LOL.
LOL, okay.
But to be talking about grown topics, to be so young, because I'm very observant. So to keep a room full of my aunts laughing.
So you were a comedian before you were a gang member?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't a transition the other way.
It was, because being a gang member, you kind of get hard even if you don't want to. You kind of get numb because things always go on. You always
But you
losing
don't
somebody.
seem angry. You have this smile from the day we met. Like, a smile was on your face. I know it had a lot to do with me being pretty and cute. And
It must have been the
No.
hills. It was the hills. The hills got me.
you're funny, but from the day we met, you had this smile on your face. And usually there's like this thing that goes with, like, when I talk to other members, they're like really angry and everything's kind of like a little bit forceful and they don't want to look me in my face. They don't want to answer certain questions, but that wasn't the case with you at all.
Because you gotta let stuff go. You can't let it eat you alive.
Okay.
You gotta let things go. I mean, things you can control, things you can't. And it's normally the ones who look at mean all the time, they ain't doing nothing.
So do you find like humor kind of makes things a little bit different for you? Like, is that your escape now?
My escape now is being a father, because I have 2 daughters. And to watch my habits go to them, they comedians, the 3-year-old and the 12-year-old.
How was that for you? Because kids could be a handful.
Well, actually, to be honest, I didn't really change with my first one, because my first one, I was 16 years old, so we kind of grew up together. It was my 3-year-old that really kind of calmed me down. Just man, it's great. Like, I kind of had a trial and error with the first one. I used to bring her around the homies in the hood. She seen a lot that she wasn't supposed to see because I was still a kid when I had her.
Okay.
So
You had your first child when you were what?
16.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Before I even went to health class, I was,
Wow.
we in here, baby, we in here. Listen to what the teacher's saying, because I'll be back. You gotta sit here and do this for me.
Wow.
Nah, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
He's funny. I can't. He's hilarious. So let me ask you, okay, what changed your life? Like, because you seem different. Are you still on the streets?
Am I still on the streets?
Yeah,
I'm not homeless.
You
So
know-
am I still on the streets?
Do you
Like, I
want
live
to?
at
You're
the
not
box
You're not
down the
gang
street.
banging anymore.
I'm always gang banging.
Really?
Yeah.
But gang banging has different meanings.
It does. It has different meanings. I'm not. I try to find better ways to deal with solutions
Okay.
than the norm or what people may think. Oh, it's just killers. I don't.
I wouldn't see you like if I saw you walking down the street. That is not what would come because you're not exteriorly tatted, and you don't perceive yourself, like you have swag. Definitely have swag, but it's
Thank
not
you.
that stigma thing that people look at and say. I wouldn't look at you and go, oh yeah, that's possible.
It took a lot of years.
Okay.
A lot of calming down, losing homies. Losing homies at 16 to the grave, to jail. I got a homeboy, 21. He never coming home. He got like 109 years.
Wow.
Just had a baby. So it's rough. And then you got to look.
How do you get 109 years? What?
It's ridiculous. You die, you still gonna be doing time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, till the casket drops.
To the casket drop. I think they tried to make an example out of him.
That's
what
a
it
heck
was.
of an example, don't you think?
Yeah, but it happens.
The reason I wanted to bring you here today, because you have an interesting story. You're doing some positive things now. You're not just out in the streets.
I'm trying to keep it positive.
Talk about that. Why did you feel the need to do that? And what exactly are you doing?
Well, I'm doing a couple different things.
Okay.
I do the comedy. I'm a radio personality.
Radio too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mentor the young dudes. What really brought me to it is because I remember sitting in school and this guy would come with his suit on and tell us all this stuff about him that we couldn't relate to, and then you're gone. After school is over, we don't never see you again.
Okay.
So I'd rather come to the young men in my community and other communities well, we're gonna focus on my community right now. If I go to the school and talk to you and I'm telling you something,
You walk away and they
if
leave
you walk
them
away,
with
you
nothing.
can meet me at the corner store. We can still talk.
Right.
You need help with homework, I'm here.
Okay.
I just don't want them to go through the things that I went through. The loss, the catching up, the growing up too fast. Because once you start gangbanging, you are an adult. You're making adult decisions. You suffer adult consequences. So that kind of just, this way you trying to go, I've been there.
Okay.
Let me steer you this way. Now, if it don't work and you still join the gang, well, once you're in my world, I could go about it however I feel as though I need to go about it. But I try to keep them focused, like, you need school. Everybody want a girlfriend, okay, that could wait.
Right.
No rush. I want a baby. I had a baby when I was 16. Any aspect you're trying to do, I done got it covered already.
Been there, done that too. Wow. So do you encourage them to do schooling and to do it better? Because I remember you said to me a while back that, you know, that being a gang member for your children was definitely not an option.
No.
Why?
Because you don't want, nobody wants their kid to be in a gang. I don't care, because you hear gang and you think, oh my God. But it's not illegal to be in a gang, but I don't want my kids to be in a gang because you don't have to. Daddy did it. Daddy, you grew up around, they think they uncles, and the homies is they uncles, and you know, it's around you. It's no need to get involved. And plus, anybody who know my kids, they try to be in the gang. They gonna get what they asking for, but they not gonna get the gang part of it.
Wow.
They gonna get a phone call and I'm gonna pop up, and it's gonna be a situation.
Okay. So they respect you. You're looked up to. How does that feel?
I mean, it feel good.
Yeah. Does it
Everybody
really
wanna
feel
get
good?
looked up to, whether it's by your
So
kids.
would you say,
or,
would you rather be feared than loved?
No.
Or loved than feared?
No, I'd rather be loved than feared.
Rather be loved than feared. So if if you get the opportunity to look back 10 years from now, what do you want to be most proud of and remembered for?
Being a good father.
That's important to you.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I didn't have the luxury of running around the house and my father telling me to sit down somewhere or cut it out. So that's a big thing for me. And when my oldest, I wasn't there to see her come out. I was locked up doing 36 months in a youth house. So I kind of try to give them the things I ain't have. Oh, let's do a little nail salon day. I know I'm a Crip, but my Manny Petty flow is off the hook, man.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate this.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So part 2 next week, when we come back, we will start off with a man who has dedicated his life to bringing peace on the street and also being a mediator to gang members. Saving Ourselves is the name of his nonprofit organization, and he's also been a gang member for 2 decades. So when we come back, we'll do Twitter questions from you guys. Until next time, see you next week.